Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sammy and Marissa's Husbands. No Trey this week because he's in France and Switzerland, I think. I didn't really pay too much attention to whenever he was telling me where he was going. Um, Pretty boring episode for you today. We're going to talk a little bit about what I did this weekend. Then we'll get into some random questions I have from three people. Then I'm going to do a little top five. Then we'll have a commercial break, and then we'll talk to a special guest who is a woman. I know, and it's not Marissa, even though she might pop in, but she is not the special guest later. So for what I did this week, work, typical work. Had my truck break down on me on my route in Fayetteville. Lift gate broke down, fixed it, because I'm basically an electrician. It's no big deal. It's just the things I do. Hmm. It's really hard to not do the sleepy voice when you're talking to yourself in an empty room. But I'm gonna try to not do it. I don't know, I'm nervous to talk by myself in my home to a podcast that only my friends listen to. Very strange. Human brain is weird. We do have some big sporting events from this weekend. Final Four. Florida beat Auburn. Close game. I know Charles Barkley was upset. Um, and then Duke lost to Houston in what can only be described as a monumental collapse. I watched the first half of that game. Duke seemed like the better team. Houston is very physical, a lot of athletic guys, but Duke had better players, in my opinion. I don't think anyone really is going to argue that. And then they just kind of collapsed there at the end. Drew told me they didn't score for 8 minutes, didn't score a basket. Uh, it's just not championship basketball. That is gonna sting Duke fans for a long time because that is a uh, roster, roster, roster that was tailor made to win a national championship. There's no excuse there, especially for all the shit we've given teams not living up to their potential. I mean, obviously, great season, made it to the Final Four, but I think with that roster, anything less than a national championship is a failure. Um, and that's easy for me to say because my team didn't even make the tournament. Forecast for the national championship, Florida versus Houston. It's going to be an interesting game. I think I'm going to ride with Houston, though. But Florida's proven that they can win close games, that they can play through adversity. I think it's going to be an interesting matchup. I got Houston 69 to 64. Now, does my opinion on this matter? Absolutely not. Because I don't know if you've heard, we did a bracket challenge, 13 teams. After the Sweet 16, I was first. And then I have finished in last with 27.1% correct, which is, if you factor in everybody that's done one, like throughout the ESPN bracket, I finished in like 16 millionth place. So close, uh, but no cigarette. I think that's what they say. Close, but no cigarette. Mike wanted me to let everybody know that he's still God's chosen warrior as he won $120. He was he was paid out 130, but his $10 for the people who have issues with math does not count towards his winnings. It's just him getting back his initial investment. So he won $120 on top of 800 he won for the fantasy basketball championship. I think that's what he gets. $1,000, 800 to the champ, 100 to second place, 100 to the regular season winner. I think that's how we do it. I haven't won money in a long time, so I think since 21 was the last time I won that league. So I'm not too familiar with the payout structure anymore. But I had a good year with that. Finished in fourth. Uh, Kind of a bummer. But when you're going up against a warrior chosen by God to exact his will on the non-believers, there's not much that you can do in terms of winning, except, you know, get out of the way or get rolled over. And I got rolled over. Now, I was given a few random questions by people. I'm going to start with Drew. His question was, which gas is highest priced? I asked him, like, gas station. He said, no, type of gas. And I said, it's premium, which would be correct. And then he said, nah, it's diesel, like D's nuts. So he got me on that. But also, diesel is not gasoline. It's different than gas, different type, different chemical structure. So, while I did get got with the D's nuts joke, I stand by highest gas priced is premium or supreme. And while we're on that subject, there's usually go to a gas station other than diesel, three types: regular, super, supreme, or mid grade, premium. Who gets the mid grade? I don't know anyone who's ever gotten mid grade. I know certain people get premium for, a higher class of car, or Drew does this every once in a while. He gets premium every once in a while he says it is good for his car. It flushes out the system or some shit. I don't know if that's true. I don't know anything about cars. Seems ridiculous to me. That seems like if you drink soda every day, but you have one water, it flushes your, well, maybe I thought it like that. Maybe I'm changing how I feel about it because it's still good for your body. Hmm. Maybe, maybe I should just listen to what Drew says. Maybe he's onto something. I don't know. I feel like I'm settling into this. I don't feel like I'm doing the sleepy voice. Not doing the radio voice either. But you can't sustain that for long periods of time. Wesley asked me a question. If you had to eat one meal every day, three times a day for the rest of your life, what would it be and why? That's tough. Because some of my favorite dishes, like I love chicken marsala, but I could not eat that three meals a day every day for the rest of my life. It's too heavy. So that has to be a consideration. Mm, Now, he said meal. So I'm guessing I can do. Ooh, this is tough. You could do a type of sandwich and a side since it's a meal. That was the offering he gave me on that. I'm gonna say two eggs over easy, three pieces of bacon, home fries, extra crispy, and a praline pancake or a pecan pancake, butter syrup. And then I'm gonna go iced coffee. Ooh, but I don't want to drink coffee three meals a day. I'm gonna go with water. Water with lemon and chalky milk. I think that's what I'll do. Because I can do breakfast for dinner, but I cannot do dinner for breakfast. I'm just not one of those people. I don't like, even when I ate beef, I didn't like steak and eggs, or, you know, some people do pizza for breakfast after a night out. That's just, I never really was into that. I mean, I've had it, obviously, but I'm much more into breakfast for breakfast. Sometimes when you're like talking into a mic, you're like, wow, I sound like a fucking moron. Huh. Thanks for listening, everybody. Our last episode streams were down, only had 6 viewers. Interesting. Um, maybe while Wes gave me this question, he did say that the pod is getting stale. And maybe we're reaching the end of what we're doing. I mean, we did 75 episodes. I don't know if how long Trey wants to do this. I still have fun doing it. It's a good way to catch up. You know, kind of made me sad when I said that. I didn't feel like we were getting stale. But, I think he meant it more as a constructive thing than to hurt my feelings. But he hurt my feelings anyway. It's just sometimes constructive criticism hurts. You just have to kind of take it on the chin and think of ways to make it better. I'm going to get to the drawing board, see if I can spice this thing up a little bit. And if not, we'll just scrap it and kill ourselves. All right. Next question. This one is from Trey. It is button down shirt. What's the appropriate, appropriately? Let's try that again. To the editor, cut this out. Button down shirt. What's the appropriate button to be buttoned up to? I'm thinking he means in a uh, more formal setting. So if you're wearing a tie, you can go all the way up to the top. But for me, and I'm sure a lot of our listeners with thicker necks will go second to the top. And if you're wearing a tie, you can put the tie around the collar, tighten it, and if you do it correctly, you won't be able to tell. I would say casual setting, either top or second from the top button. And, if it's night out, two buttons undone, possibly three. Um, for all of you who've been drinking with me, I've been known to, let a couple buttons loose. That's what you got to do. You got to let it breathe, especially when it's hot. It's getting hot. The sun's hot. My body's hot. You know what I'm saying? Gotta let it show. Next question. This was submitted to us from Mikey Two Sticks. Last week alive, unlimited funds and resources. What are you doing? Unlimited funds and resources. Unlimited funds and resources. So money's not an object. Oh, that's so tough. I don't, my cup already overfloweth with blessings, great friends, family. I would say I would like to go to some of the historic basketball parks and play pickup. I'd like to hit Rucker Park, Venice Beach. Could do that for a day. You have unlimited funds, so we can get a private plane. Play at Rucker in the morning, and fly out to California, play there at night. While we're in California, the Pacific Coast Highway, I think is what it's called. It's supposed to be beautiful. Take a ride down that. Then we're gonna go to Florida tomorrow. Sunday we're playing pickup. Monday we're in Florida. I'm gonna experience Harry Potter World because now I have money and I can afford to go. Tuesday we are gonna go to the Caribbean. Like to see that. Spend a day there. Spend 2 days there. So now it's Thursday and we're in Europe. We're going to the Amalfi Coast. Uh, go back to the homeland, Italy. Not the homeland that all you racist fucks are thinking. I think I'll skip that part of the trip. So we're gonna go to Italy, and I think that's where we'll spend me and my wife. We'll spend my last days in Italy in a really nice house on Lake Como and just eat copious amounts of delicious Italian food. I think that's a pretty good day. Pretty good week. Hope that answers your question, Mike. Another question from Mike. And by Mike, I mean Trey, because Mike just asked that question. Pew, 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 pew. Pew, 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 pew. That was my attempt at Jeopardy music. Was not good. How do you think you would fare in a Spanish-speaking country with my level of Spanish? Not well. Not well. I can kind of understand Spanish. I mean, this happened when I was in college, I would be okay because I took up the conversational Spanish at Cape Fear. So I was pretty good at it, but once you stop doing it, you lose it pretty quickly. I'm gonna say I would be able to, I would be able to convey emotion. Uh, that's pretty much it. I mean, you can point at stuff. I know the basics, me, I'm OS Tyler. Yo, Tango, Comida, Yo Quiero. Uh, yeah, that's all I got. Food. Uh, Vamos aquí. Uh, Las zanahorias. Uh, Manzanas es bien. Mm, Verde. Rojo. Uh, that's all I got. So however far that can get you, which is nowhere. But yeah, I think I can understand Spanish decently well. I can't speak it anymore. But if ever need to go to the library and I just go a biblioteca and then I like shrug my shoulders and throw my hands up, which is Spanish for question mark. Yeah, so not well. I would not do well. The last thing I'm gonna do before I run out and do the guest portion of this is I had an idea to do like a top five horror protagonists, and I'll probably ask my guest about this because I know she's likes horror stuff. So I don't know if I'm gonna do most iconic, and then you got four right off the bat: Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees, Freddy Krueger, and Leatherface. Four most iconic, all those slasher films. And then after that, it gets a little tricky for me. You can do the Terrifier. I think it's Art the Clown, but I've never seen those, so it would be disingenuous for me to say that. And then obviously you've got, you know, ghost movies and shit, like the fucking What the fuck? Movies with Ed and Lorraine Warren, the Conjuring movies, and that whole franchise with the Nun and I think Annabelle is that franchise as well. So there's a lot from that, but those aren't really none of them are really iconic to me. That just that whole universe is pretty scary. And then, hmm, I think I'm having fucking dementia. Or as the kids call it, brain melt. There's another series with the same actor from The Conjuring. My God. I'm sure you're all screaming at your fucking uh it's not sinister, but that was really scary. That is another scary thing. What the fuck is it? Another series of movies. They go into like a dream world. The actor's name is Patrick something. Patrick Wilson is his name. Insidious, that's what I'm thinking of. So I'm sure all of you already got that and screamed at your TV, which is what you definitely watch this on is your TV because we're a TV show. Yep, TV show. This is a TV show. Who am I gonna go with for this last one? Just looked at the top 25 best horror villains of all time. Count Dracula is number one. Whack. Whack. Got the Babadook on here. Leatherface at 22. This list already fucking sucks. Jigsaw. Okay. The girl from The Ring. Annie Wilkes from Misery. That's a good one, but I don't think she's gonna be in mine. Um, Pinhead. Okay. Uh, apparently the shark's name from Jaws is Bruce. I didn't know that. Jason Voorhees 11. Pennywise at 10. Godzilla. I different genre for me. Monster movies don't count in this. Freddy Krueger at 8. 7. Ghostface. Okay, Ghostface is potential here. Candyman. Mike Myers at 5. Norman Bates. Frankenstein's monster. Hannibal Lecter at 2. I'd probably say Hannibal Lecter would be in mine. Count Dracula. Yeah, I can see Dracula being on there. He's not going to be on mine. I'm going to go Jason Voorhees, Michael Myers, Freddy Krueger, Leatherface, and Hannibal Lecter. Let me let me know down in the comments what you guys think. Top five horror villains. I think I might have said protagonists earlier, but that's not what I meant. There was a comment we got a couple weeks ago by Corey. I think Kevin said something too about how my top three favorite cakes, which were carrot cake, ice cream cake, and cookie cake. Two of them aren't cake. One is a cookie and one is ice cream. And I think that is a fair criticism. So I'm gonna go with carrot cake still on there. Love carrot cake. Um, I'm gonna go with a vanilla base of the like physical cake with some type of like fruit, not real fruit, like the jelly, like a strawberry jelly in there with a white icing on top. I don't know what kind of like a strawberry shortcake kind of cake, but without actual strawberries, with a artificial strawberry. Ooh. And then for my third, I'll go red velvet with vanilla icing. So pretty basic, but you know, it's cakes. I wouldn't call those the best tasting ever, but if I'm being constrained by having to do actual cake and not cookies and ice cream, then that's what it's going to have to be. I think that's a good stopping point for now. I'm gonna go get prepared for my guest. And welcome back, everybody in the house. Allie Parker, Wes's wife.
Wes is my husband. Yes, this is Al's.
How does it feel to make your national podcast debut?
It's pretty cool. I'm pretty annoyed that I didn't come up with the podcasting thing first, because now if I want to do it, I'm just copying you. But
Yeah, no, and yeah, 100%. Wes did tell me it was getting pretty stale.
mhm.
So he's mean.
I mean, I've only listened to 2 episodes, but I would listen more if you talked like way less sports, like just like even like a little less, buddy.
Yeah, I don't even know what we're not even qualified to talk about sports, so I don't
I mean,
even.
it sounds cool when you guys talk about it, and it's not my fault. It really isn't. I've tried so hard, but God, I could not care any less about any of the sports you guys care about. Oh, it's horrible. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's kind of killing us with our female audience.
Yeah, I mean, you could talk about like dresses or like funny stories. I mean, I don't know.
I did wear a dress one time for Halloween.
That was pretty cool. Do it again.
All right. So you are our Reddit correspondent,
Yes.
and that
Sorry
episode,
about the coconut story back in the day, man. That was
yeah,
brutal.
yeah,
Sorry.
that's our most listened to episode. So
Yeah, you're welcome.
I think we actually got a couple random people that listened to that one.
Oh, that's funny.
All right, so we're each gonna read one, and I think they're both "Am I the asshole?" Right?
Yep.
Okay,
And
so
they're pretty short, they're not super long, and they're pretty just easy to guess who the asshole is. And one of them, I'd like to get your take on it because it could go either way.
okay, do you want to read yours first, or do you want me to read mine first?
You can read yours first. It didn't matter.
Okay, and they're both submitted by you, and I have not read these yet.
Okay. They're a lot more tame than the coconut story. They are a lot more family friendly, just about relationships. So everyone can relax. No one's coming in a coconut
Yet. Okay.
yet.
Am I the asshole for telling my wife we either share our lotto winnings or we separate and I get half anyway?
First impressions off the bat. What do you think? No context.
No, he's not the asshole.
Yeah, I would say so too.
My wife and I are extremely fortunate to have won a decent amount of money from Lotto recently. It wasn't the top prize, but it was enough to pay off our sizable mortgage and still have some left over for vacations. The mortgage was by far our biggest weekly cost, and with that gone, we both comfortably cut our hours back at work to only school hours and spend more time with our kids. This was always a daydream, and we spoke about when we bought lotto tickets. I assumed this is what we would both do. When we got the money and paid off our house, everything almost immediately turned bad. My wife started talking about how amazing it's going to be to finally not have to work anymore. I was blindsided by this. Even with the mortgage gone, we could still have to work at least school hours to keep our current standard of living. And my salary alone, things would be tight. I asked if she was serious, and she said, of course, it was her ticket and she gets to decide. This is BS because we both bought lotto tickets before, and when we moved in together, we only bought one because it seemed like a waste of money to buy two. I tried to reason with her, say she could use some of the extra to take some unpaid leave here and there, but she needs to keep her job. When I said if I'm only working school hours, she absolutely flipped and started accusing me of being a gold digger and ruining this for her, how she deserved it after working so much of her life, etc. I asked her for a pause because I was honestly afraid. She's never been like this before. The next few days, we tried to have this conversation again, but she didn't budge an inch. And when she said, well, it doesn't matter now because I'm putting in my notice at work, I lost it and told her I'm not going through with this. If she's going to share the winnings, which is under both our names, I'll divorce her and get half through the house and therefore half the winnings anyway. This started another screaming match where she continued to call me a gold digger. I'm absolutely exhausted and lost. I feel like my wife has been replaced by an imposter. I would have preferred not winning if I knew this was going to happen.
Yikes.
Um, I get it though. I mean, I get it. I get her point. Like, I wouldn't want to work if we paid off the house.
Well, that's what I'm wondering about the context, because if you paid off, like your mortgage is usually like what, like 40% of your bills is typically
In
the
theory,
average, you say? Like,
I
or,
mean,
give or take.
I feel
Um,
like they should be able to pay. I mean, like, if you pay off your mortgage,
mhm.
you'll have your power bills, water bill. And obviously, I don't know their finances. I don't know if they have car loans and that kind of stuff. But
I
I
feel
feel
like if
like,
you win that kind of money and one person can't quit their job, you're living way beyond your means anyway.
yeah, and
Like, that's wild.
it doesn't say how much they won. He did say sizable mortgage, so it makes me feel like they won a decent amount of money.
I'm FaceTiming. Wes is naked, everybody.
Oh
Wes
my
is
God.
naked in the house.
Put
Oh,
away
no.
your
Oh, you're
peener.
good.
Everybody, he's
But
putting his
anyways,
penis in the camera. Oh my God.
I really want to. It's very tempting.
No, I've seen it before. Underwhelming.
Yes. Ain't nothing you ain't never seen, baby. Underwhelming is a good point. Anyways, but I will say it is crazy to just automatically assume that you're going to quit your job and not even discuss it with your partner. That's a little crazy. Big red flag, I think. But with just the context we have here, I would divorce that bitch. Hot take.
Yeah, I mean, she's the one that kind of seems like the gold digger in this situation.
Yeah.
But
Like,
also, uh, I think they're both being like super dramatic.
oh yeah, the communication is off. It's horrible. It's very sad. Goodbye, friend.
I
Way to ruin podcast, Wes.
Yeah, I mean, this is a big budget program. Like, you kind of got to keep your husband out of it.
Well, you know what's funny is when he does his, I completely like I if I have to sneeze, I go in a different location. I take the dog somewhere else. And I told him I was coming in here and he just comes in here, just ball sack and everything, and just bombards me.
Yeah, I mean, you're a more respectful person than he is.
Yeah, he just, it's the only child in him. I can't really blame him.
Yeah.
But yeah, back to that. That would be horrible. It would be so sad. It shows that their relationship probably wasn't gonna make it anyway. Because a healthy relationship, like if I would, me and Wes at least, um, if we won that kind of money, I would say we both would just work part time because I'm a normal person and I'm like we both can enjoy the benefits of this. But also, I would like to be a stay-at-home wife. But
I did
I
tell
don't know.
Marissa, like, if we won, I mean, she wouldn't work because I did tell her 5 years ago. Well, I told her 4 years ago, in 5 years, she wouldn't have to work. And
Dang, you're coming up quick on that promise,
it
buddy.
doesn't, things were looking up at that time when I made that promise.
Aren't they always?
And then now it's like, oh, I'm kind of cutting fish.
And you're like, hey, why don't you get a second job?
Yeah, can you do two stay-at-home jobs?
That'd be great. But I think that shows how much you love your wife, though. If you got the money, you probably wouldn't think twice. You'd be like, oh, you're staying home.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a better
That's,
person than this guy, for sure.
yeah, so that's definitely a red flag on his end. But
Yeah.
if, since we don't have any other context, if we're just going by that,
I would say
that's
no,
sad.
he's not the asshole.
Yeah, I agree. Any other comments?
They should probably get divorced.
That's even besides the lottery thing, it sounds like it's just not a good relationship.
Like, if you want enough money to pay off your mortgage and like you immediately have problems,
Yeah, that's crazy.
yeah, like
That's sad.
me and you could start a podcast called Marriage problems.
I wanted to say that we should do that because there's a lot of the Reddit ones and I'm like, this would be fun, and we can get all the married people to do it. But
Well, apparently, according to Wes, this is running its course. So,
I mean, I love that you took the initiative to start a podcast. That's super cool. I just wish I cared about what you were talking about. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry.
okay. Oh for 2 today.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, read yours.
Okay. Does it still work if I go on my phone?
Yeah, I just don't see the video, but I don't need to see it.
Okay. Well, thank you. Okay. Um, am I the asshole? Wait, no, I'm gonna do a different one. Hold on. I forgot I sent you three. This one. This one's just kind of like a funny little one, but I could see how two different people could have completely different opinions. So this will be funny. Okay. Am I the asshole for not reminding my fiance that stoves are hot? That's the title. And like immediately when I read this, all I could think about is me and Wes and how we would have this exact argument and we would call you and be like, who's the asshole here? So let's just pretend.
Okay.
All right. So the story goes last night, my fiance, 31 male, and I, 30 female, were winding down our days getting ready to make dinner. Together in the kitchen, I popped the chicken in the oven. Also in the oven was our cast iron pan. We go back to our respective video games, and then when the chicken was getting closer to finished, I go out to the kitchen to start on veggies. I take the now 400-degree cast iron out of the oven, turn on the stove, and plop some butter in there while I turn my back and start cutting vegetables. My fiance comes out asking what it is that he needs to do. I say I just need these veggies cut, which I was actively doing. And he goes to give the cast iron pan a shake to move the butter around. Yeah, the 400-degree iron handle. He grabbed it. It was less than a second, but definitely burned his fingers, first degree for sure. Now the question becomes, was I the asshole for not adequately, man, that's a big old word in there, for not adequately warning him about the hot cast iron? More importantly, am I refusing more than 50% blame for the incident? To me, the cast iron handles will regularly get hot when using it on the stovetop. But obviously this was way hotter than your usual hot, so I can't say that I would grab it with reckless abandon, like my lovely fiance did. He claims I should at least take majority blame, 51% to 49%. But he thinks it's more like 60-40. Additionally, my back was turned. I didn't see him reach for the pan, or I would have warned him. We went back and forth on the percent blame for a long while. Do you guys do that? Me and Wes do that all the time.
No, I'm usually just wrong.
I'm usually wrong and I just know it because I'm a absolute psycho. So that's the only reason why he gets it sometimes.
Yeah,
Marissa's like a normal person.
I didn't mean to frame that like Marissa like makes me wrong. I usually just am wrong.
No, no, you totally
Yeah.
are. I know that.
Yeah.
Marissa is an angel, like in
Yeah.
general. We went back and forth on the percent blame for a long while last night, and we can't decide. Obviously, Reddit is the best place to go to solve relationship disputes, so am I the asshole? And also, there's an edit to add real quick. Thank you all. Um, Thank you all. My fiance and I were so excited to post this and have our relationship ripped to shreds. We turned it into a date night at a local pizza place and played Am I the Asshole bingo and loved all the comments. So they're at least it's a friendly thing. They're not actually fighting.
Yeah, I think it's I'll go percentage as well. I think it's 30-70 his fault.
I would agree with that too. The only reason is because her back was turned. If she was looking at him and didn't warn him, I'd be like, yeesh.
Did he know that she was cooking something in the oven though?
I think so. I mean, I feel like you would feel like the hotness of the oven at minimum and smell it.
Also,
But
who
I mean,
just grabs something?
that is a little crazy to just grab a cast iron that you could probably tell is like sizzling in the pan.
Yeah, I that sounds like something Wes would do like outside of if it was like if it wasn't food related.
Right.
I mean, obviously kitchen stuff he's pretty up to speed with. But if it was like something like, you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, it's like, well, even then, kitchen stuff, it's very, if it's not like a Buffalo Wild Wings wing fryer, his knowledge is pretty limited. He's gonna listen to that and be like, "You're a fucking bitch," but I'm just kidding. He's actually pretty good in the kitchen, but a lot of it he had to learn from me, which is crazy.
You can't walk it back, alley. You think he's a terrible chef.
No, he's a good cook. He's just funny in the kitchen. Sometimes I'm like, "What are you doing, buddy?" But he
Uh,
gets it done. But he would totally do that. He would see that and just grab it, and then he would probably blame me too.
yeah, I'm gonna say it's mainly his fault
I
because
think so too.
just grabbing it like that, that's kind of psychotic.
This comment is funny. So this person is like angry about this post, and you can tell that they're probably in a different kind of relationship than we are. This is what they said. They said, "What the absolute fuck? Who are you two assigning percentages to blame? This is a blameless situation. Your fiance accidentally grabbed the pan, and you can't be blamed for not knowing that he was gonna grab the pan. Like, what is wrong with you?" I'm like, I don't know.
That is funny, but I don't think there's anything that is a blameless situation.
No.
There's always blame to be placed.
Hmm.
And if I can't figure out who to blame, I blame it on my dad.
You and me both, buddy. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a shame.
Yeah, hope he's not listening to this. I know he is though. Um, anyway. All right, I have one question to ask you and then I'll let you go. It's kind of you'll have to think about it though. And
Okay.
I can give you my answer because I did this before when I recorded my solo part.
Okay.
Um, what are your top five horror movie villains?
Um, like assuming that they are bad people. They're just like we're not talking about horror people that turn good, like just horror people in general, right?
Yeah, just like the bad guy of the movie. But specifically like horror movies because I was on a list and it said that Godzilla was on there and I was like monster movies I feel like are different
I feel like they're
than
completely different. I would not put Godzilla in a horror movie. Did you see that stat that was that said if Godzilla was real, he would pee 14 million gallons of piss a day? Where would it go? Mm.
to be drowned in Godzilla's piss. That's my life goal.
It's definitely Wes's.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure.
Both of y'all. All right, yeah, you give me your five.
I don't want to I don't want to influence you too much, but I'll give them.
You don't. I can go first if you want.
Yeah, I want to hear yours without any of my input.
I don't know them in order without thinking of
No,
it too
yeah,
much, so I
I
might
didn't do
adjust
any
it.
order. I just did a top five.
Yeah. I Art the Clown is probably my favorite.
I knew he was going to be on yours.
He's just I love those movies. They're just so campy. I mean, they're just fun. So and he's the craziest and absolute most ruthless of the bunch for sure. I've never cared for Michael Myers that much. So
Oh,
I'm not he is not on my list at all. I don't get it. It's not my thing. I like Jason a lot. Man, I'm trying to think of horror movies off the top of my head.
Michael Myers was in mine.
No, I don't. It's just he walks slow. I mean, he's scary, I guess, but I never understood it. I don't know. I don't understand. Is he an alien?
No, Michael Myers is just a man.
Um,
I just mine wasn't necessarily my top. I think mine I was kind of going for like iconic,
yeah.
but you can do yours however you want to do it. Like
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
I mentioned Art the Clown, but I haven't seen those movies, so I felt like I couldn't put him in mine.
Trying to think of who else I would pick.
I'll give you the rest of mine so you kind
Yeah,
of
give me. I'm looking some up right now just to get my brain working.
I did Jason Voorhees, Michael Myers, Freddy Krueger, Leatherface, and Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah, that's a good list.
Obviously, four of them are slasher films, so it was kind of like I was thinking about like The Conjuring and things like that, but that for me, like the movie is just scary. Like it's not like a memorable fucking villain or
Right.
something.
I would probably say another one would be I really Norman Bates is a fun one.
Oh, like Psycho?
Yeah, he that was one of my favorites when I was a kid. And then Pennywise, it's tough
Okay.
to pick between the two of them because I like the original It movies. What's his face is adorable. I've always liked him, but
Tim Curry.
Pennywise is good. Yeah. And then probably Jack from The Shining.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Yeah. And honorable mention, the shark from Jaws, man. That was a big shark with a big jaw.
You know what his name was?
The shark?
Yeah.
Jaws?
Jaw.
Jaw.
That was on the list I was looking at, and apparently his name is Bruce.
Is it Bruce or is that Bruce from Oh, I think I did hear that. And that's where Nemo got the name from.
Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense.
I
'Cause
think
I was like,
I
what
don't
the
know if
fuck?
I made that fact up in my head, but I feel like I've heard that on like a documentary or something.
I'm not gonna fact check it because it's my
You should
head.
always fact check everything I say, first of all. Don't ever believe what I say.
Yeah. That's all I got. I won't keep you.
Yep.
I know you gotta
Wes is hungry.
you gotta make dinner for your husband, so
I'm not making dinner, baby. I'm going out to eat.
where y'all going?
I don't know. Somewhere with alcohol, probably.
Uh
Gonna try not to eat at the dive for the fifth time this week, so we'll see.
yeah, that's tough. That's tough when
It's
you
hard. It's so good. It's like right there. I get a discount and it's great food, so I don't know.
where do you guys get your sweet potato fries?
Ah, there's a really cool company called Seaview Quab Company. You ever heard of them? They sell crabs and they sell sweet potato fries.
Well, in the business we call that a plug.
I was gonna say we're plugging both our businesses here. Number one wings in the eastern North Carolina state, the Dive Carolina Beach, and Seaview Quab Company sells quabs and sweet potato fries, like I said.
Okay, I think that's a good place to end it.
Yeah.
Uh,
Thanks for having me on, bud.
Thanks for listening, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Hey everyone, thanks for still being here. This last little bit is just a blooper slash start of me and Allie's podcast that I thought needed to be kept in for some reason. It doesn't make sense, but nothing ever makes sense.
You know, it might seem like my room's.
What were you gonna say? Hey, I'll
I was
delete
gonna say,
it.
Mike. I was gonna say it might seem like my room's clean, but if I just take a quick pan,
Oh my God.
it was laundry day and I just threw it there. I haven't folded it, but it's done. It's clean.
Rick is in that light.
We both like a red room. I see me and Rick. It's a
All right.
freaky with a wizard.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking weird.